Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible to you? Anyone, please respond.
Sir.
Okay. Then one thing to remember you all. So all are entering this Zoom sessions with your names. So whenever it is considered that the attendance is going to be provided, those who entered with the serial number followed by nothing. Okay, so the serial number should be completely your series followed with the college code with the capital letters. Okay, so is it clear? So attendance is going to be provided as a report in the Excel. In that particular Excel, if there is any names or nothing, they will be eliminated, and you are going to lose the attendance. Okay, so from the next session, completely all the students should enter with register number. Is it clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay, then so far 59 participants, still some are joining. Okay, so mostly in the last class we considered related to the modes of operation of SCR, isn't it? Isn't it? So here, whenever you are going to consider the SCR, is my voice audible? Anyone respond, please?
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, so whenever we are going to consider the SCR modes of operation, as we know that the SCR is going to be a 3-terminal device provided with 3 junctions. Okay. So when you are going to consider this, what is this anode? What is this anode terminal described? It is going to be described to be as the terminal which is going to be connected to the end P layer, isn't it? Coming to the cathode is going to be the terminal which is connected to the end N layer of the complete SCR structure. And coming to this gate is going to be connected to the end, is going to be connected to the P layer which is nearer to this cathode terminal. So the 3 terminals of the SCR is going to be anode, cathode, and the gate. Okay, so whenever you are going to consider the modes of operation of SCR, majorly 3 modes are going to be considered. One is going to be the forward blocking mode, reverse blocking mode, forward conducting mode. And this reverse conducting mode, it is not useful for us in any circuit, but it also going to be happen. So we are going to consider this when it is going to be happened in the case of an SCR. Okay, so here whenever you are going to consider these modes of SCR, for considering these modes of SCR, we are going to consider the elementary circuit. So this is going to be the elementary circuit, power circuit considered for studying the 3 modes of SCR, that is reverse blocking mode, forward blocking mode, and forward conducting mode. Okay, so coming to this circuit, as we need to study the SCR provided with anode, cathode and gate, we need to provide the power for this anode and cathode. We need to provide the power for this anode and cathode. Okay, so that is going to be, that power is going to be provided to the SCR by means of a voltage source provided with a magnitude of E. So here this E simply represents a DC source provided with a positive terminal, and positive terminal shown as this, and negative terminal connected to be like this. Okay, to this particular DC voltage, what you are going to consider means, you are going to consider a variable resistor here, variable resistor, or it may be potentiometer. You are going to consider this here for the purpose of varying the voltage, for the purpose of varying the voltage. Okay, so the purpose of the resistor is, by varying this variable end, the resistance available across the two terminals of anode and cathode are going to be varied. So directly we may not able to connect the source to a to the resistance, sorry, to the SCR. So in between we are going to consider a load. This load may be a resistive load, or this load may be an inductive load. So we are simply not going to consider this particular element in our analysis. We are simply going to make it as a load element. Okay, so this is the power circuit connected to the SCR. Always the power circuit is going to be connected between the anode terminal and cathode terminal. So is the screen sharing visible to you? The circuit diagram, elementary circuit diagram.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here in this case, the power circuit is going to be always connected between anode and the cathode. So here the source, this potentiometer, and this load which is connected between the anode and cathode forms the power circuit. Okay, okay, then coming to the other, that is going to be the gate terminal. So in the case of this gate terminal, we are saying that the gate terminal is going to be the control terminal provided for the SCR. So gate terminal is going to be provided with another voltage source, of, generally it is going to be of less magnitude. Suppose here this particular magnitude is going to be 100 volts provided, 100 volts DC provided. This magnitude of ES will be maybe of 10 volts or 12 volts like that. Okay, so here the whatever the thing that is connected between this ground negative terminal and this gate terminal, this particular total circuit is going to be the gate circuit. Okay, this is going to be the gate circuit, and whenever you are going to consider, this is going to be the gate circuit, and the remaining everything connected beyond the along with the terminals anode and cathode are going to be the power circuit. Is it clear with this? Okay, so then we need to consider the operation in two cases. Okay, here you are going to have two cases. One case, that cases is going to be related on this particular switch. Okay, so here the switch S is going to be open, switch S is going to be closed. Okay, so what we are going to do here means, we are going to, by varying this potentiometer, we are going to vary the voltage between this anode and cathode in either directions, So in the forward direction, anode positive is connected to the anode, negative is connected to the cathode, isn't it? In the reverse direction, positive is connected to the cathode and negative is connected to the anode. In both of the cases, we are going to vary the voltage across the terminals by using this potentiometer. Okay, by using this variable resistor. So here initially 0 voltage is going to be applied. Initially 0 voltage is going to be applied across the terminal, applied across the anode and the cathode. Okay, so then what we are going to do, that means the resistance value here is going to be maximum. When the resistance value is going to be maximum, minimum current is going to be flowing through this circuit. Whenever we need to increase the voltage, then we are going to simply varying this variable terminal of the variable resistance connected here. So that particular voltage may be 10 volts in a steps of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, like that, up to 100 volts. Okay, so initially the voltage provided across the device between the anode and cathode is going to be 0. Okay, after that, by varying this potentiometer, we are going to vary the voltage in steps of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, so on to the maximum value of the supply. Suppose the maximum value of the supply is going to be 100 volts. Okay, we are going to consider the maximum voltage of the supply is going to be 100 volts. So if the voltage provided here is going to be increasing gradually by keeping this switch open, then what will happen? Positive voltage is going to be applied across the anode and negative voltage is going to be applied across the cathode, isn't it? So when positive voltage is applied across the anode and negative voltage is applied across the cathode, then in the structure of an SCR, you are going to have the three junctions, J1, J2 and J3, isn't it? J1, J2, J3 are going to be forward biased and junction J2 is going to be reverse biased, isn't it? So what will happen? The junction J2, as junction J2 is going to be reverse bias, there will not be any conduction of the current. Only a small amount of leakage current is going to be flowing through the device, isn't it? So here, when in the case of this characteristics, IV characteristics of an SCR, here this particular curve here is going to represent, that particular curve here is going to represent the difference between this 0 point and this particular curve is going to be the leakage current. So you are going to have a small amount of leakage current flowing through the device. As this leakage current amount is going to be very small, this makes the device to be, this makes the current across the device is not going to be satisfactory for the conduction. So from this point O to this particular point AM, the device is considered to be in the forward blocking mode. So in this IV characteristics of an SCR, the blocking mode of an SCR is going to be represented from this O point, O to this particular point M. Okay, so you are going to get a straight line which is parallel to the axis when you are further increasing the voltage, 20 volts, 30 volts, 40 volts, 50 volts, 60 volts, 90 volts, 100 volts, like that. Okay, so here whenever you are going to increase the voltage at a particular point of voltage, at a particular voltage, at a particular value of voltage, the device, the reverse bias at junction J2 of this particular device is going to be blocking, sorry, junction is going to be breakdown. As this junction is going to be breakdown, then ultimately you are going to have a large current flow through the device, large current flow through the device. So from 0 point to this point, there will be a small amount of leakage current. At this particular point, the junction, reverse bias junction goes to the breakdown. As the junction breakdowns, then you are going to have a large mobility of the charge carriers from anode to the cathode terminal. So immediately what will happen? The current value reaches from a small milliamps of current to a finite value. So immediately the current value reaches from this small milliamps to this particular value. After that, the current value is going to be increasing. So this represents the current value. This represents the current value. So for this particular voltage at which the reverse bias junction breakdowns is considered to be as the VB naught, forward breakover voltage. Okay, so forward breakover voltage, either it is going to be useful or it is going to be not useful for considering this VB naught. Means whenever we need to have a control over the device, then we may not, we are not supposed to apply a voltage which is equal to VB naught or higher than VB naught. Okay, so VB naught కన్నా హయ్యర్ వాల్యూ మనం ఎప్పుడు డివైస్ అక్రాస్ గా ప్రొవైడ్ చేయకూడదు. ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తే ఆ వాల్యూ ఎప్పుడు రీచ్ అవుతుందో అప్పుడు ఇమీడియట్ గా డివైస్ అనేది కండక్షన్ లోకి వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఓకే, సో దట్ ఈస్ రిలేటెడ్ టు దిస్ VB naught. Once the voltage reaches to this VB naught, then immediately the device comes to the conduction, and the point from here N to this K, that represents the forward conducting mode. Okay, at this particular forward conducting mode, the ohmic resistance across the device is going to be, the resistance offered by, or the impedance offered by the device is going to be very small. So you may consider, there may be a large conduction of current. You may consider that particular mode of operation to be as on state. Okay, is it clear with this? Two, forward blocking mode, forward conducting mode. Okay, then moving to the other, that is going to be the reverse voltage, isn't it? So in the case of this reverse voltage, what we need to do? We need to simply reverse these terminals. This is going to be positive, this is going to be negative, isn't it? This is going to be positive and this is going to be negative. So when positive terminal is applied across the cathode terminal and negative is going to be applied across the anode terminal, then what will happen? J1 and J3, J1 and J3 are going to be reverse biased and J2 is going to be forward biased, isn't it? As two junctions are going to be reverse biased, provided with one junction forward bias, the two reverse bias junctions are going to have a small leakage current, small amount of leakage current. So in these characteristics also, this from 0 to this point represents the minus VA, that is voltage, reverse voltage applied across the device. From 0 to this way, it represents the positive voltage applied between the anode and the cathode. As we are speaking about 0 to this VA minus VA, the device is going to be considered to be in the reverse, applied with a reverse voltage. In this particular reverse voltage, J1 and J3 are going to be forward bias, sorry, reverse bias, and J2 is going to be forward bias. So here also a small leakage current. This particular magnitude which is represented in this arrow represents the reverse leakage current. As the reverse leakage current is going to be small, the device offers, the device simply acts as a high impedance circuit. So it is also going to be treated to be as the off state for the device. So from this point O to this particular point P, the device is considered to be in the off state. From the point O to this M, the device is considered to be in the off state. From the point on this IV characteristics, from this N to this particular K, the device offers very less impedance, considered to be provided to be in the on state or conducting state. Okay. So then here also in the reverse case also, you are going to have a permissible voltage defined for the device. This particular voltage value is going to be defined for the device depending upon its rating. VB0, VBR are going to be different for different devices. If you are going to consider an SCR operated for 1000 volts, if you are going to consider an SCR operating for 2000 volts, if you are going to consider an SCR operating for 6000 volts, all these devices are going to have different VB0 values and VBR values. Okay, this VB0 and VBR are going to be dependent on their standby or blocking voltage values. So what is this VBR here? The VBR is going to be the reverse breakdown voltage. So whenever the voltage applied between the cathode and anode reaches to this particular value or beyond that particular value, the device comes to the conduction. That is, an avalanche occurs between the reverse bias junction and the reverse bias junctions breakdowns. As the reverse bias junctions are going to be breakdown, you are going to have a high mobility of charge carriers. Okay, as there is a high mobility of charge carriers, the current curve, this is going to be nothing but you are going to have a rapid rise in the current. You are going to have a rapid rise in the current that can be observed from this point P to this Q. Okay, as this is going to be considered here, P and Q, this represents the reverse conduction mode. But what are the drawbacks with this reverse conduction mode? Means whenever you are going to consider the reverse conduction mode, as the current value is going to be high, you are going to have the power loss. You are going to have the power loss provided across the device is going to be high. As the current is going to be high, you are going to have a high power loss. That means the temperature rise across the device is going to be high. As the temperature is going to be rising, immediately the device is going to be burnt out. Okay, so this is not going to be a satisfactory purpose of conducting the device in the reverse. Always when an SCR is going to be considered, the SCR is to be operated in the reverse mode beyond from a value of 0 to a value which is less than this VBR. If the voltage in the reverse is going to be increased beyond this VBR, then ultimately you are going to have a rapid rise in the temperature. As the current is going to be increasing, ultimately it leads to the burning. Okay, so this is going to be the characteristics which are going to be considered whenever this switch is going to be kept open. Is it clear with this? Okay, all these comes under case 1. Okay, in the second case, what we are going to consider means we are going to consider this switch to be closed. We are going to consider this switch to be closed. Okay, when switch is going to be closed, then what will happen? The circuit between this gate and cathode terminal is going to be closed. So you are going to have a current conduction provided from this source ES, this resistance switch to the gate terminal to this cathode, and cathode to this return. Okay, the circuit is going to be closed. Okay, whenever the circuit is going to be closed, then ultimately what you are going to have means you are going to have a small amount of current injected onto the gate terminal. Whenever a small current is going to be injected onto the gate terminal, then what will happen means the device comes to the conduction. Beyond below these values. So that means here we consider one case of conduction, that is from 0 you are gradually going to increase the voltage. Okay, as voltage is going to be increases to this VB0, the device comes to the conduction. But if we need to make the device conduction beyond this forward breakover voltage, then one method that is provided is going to be by means of this gate circuit. A small amount of gate current is going to be injected onto the gate terminal. Whenever a gate current is going to be injected onto the gate terminal, then the P layer becomes more positive than the N layer. So the junction J2 is going to be forward biased. So that characteristics can be observed here. Okay, so Ig1, Ig2, Ig3. This Ig1, Ig2 and Ig3 are going to be the different magnitudes of gate current. Okay, so Ig1, it is going to be 10 milliamps, suppose it is going to 15 milliamps, and it is going to be 20 milliamps. Okay, so if 10 milliamps of current is going to be provided by closing the switch to the gate terminal, along with that the forward voltage is going to be increased gradually in steps of 5, in steps of 10, 20, 30, like that. Okay, at a desired instant, the device comes to the conduction. That particular that particular thing is considered to be as the forward conduction provided by the gate signal. If you are going to consider in the case of 10 milliamps, let the current here provided is going to be around 80 volts. So second case, you are going to consider the gate current to be of 20 milliamps. As the gate current is going to be of 20 milliamps, then you are going to have that particular voltage is going to be around 50 volts. If the gate current considered here is going to be of 30 milliamps, then you are going to have the voltage required here is going to be of 30 volts. 30 volts, 50 volts, 80 volts. So that relation between this gate current and voltage is going to be that whenever the gate current magnitude is going to be increasing, then ultimately lower forward voltages, the device comes to the conduction. This is going to be the thing. To analyze this, we are going to consider this particular circuit here. Okay, so that is going to be, you are going to apply a gate current of 10 milliamps here, and you are going to increase the voltage across the anode and the cathode slowly by varying this rheostat. That may be 10 volts, 20 volts, 30 volts, 40 volts, like that. Whenever it is going to be increased to this, for this 10 milliamps, let the voltage across the device becomes 80 volts, the device comes to the conduction. Okay, so how to identify the device in the conducting mode, how to identify the device in the blocking mode means simply across this anode and cathode a voltmeter is going to be connected. Okay, whenever a voltmeter is going to be connected here, and what will happen whenever the device comes to the conduction, what will be the voltage across the device? Can anyone answer? Whenever the device comes to the conduction, what will be the voltage across the device? From these characteristics you can say, by observing these characteristics. Anyone?
0.
0. Is this particular magnitude 0 here? This particular point, is it 0 or somewhere higher than 0?
Higher than 0, sir.
So as you know that the on-state voltage drop for an SCR or a diode or a semiconductor devices, mostly it is going to be less than 1 volt, isn't it? So here it may be depending upon the device, that particular voltage value is going to be 0.7 volts or 0.5 volts. Okay. Okay. So here, whenever you are going to connect a voltmeter here, voltmeter across the device, then what will happen means, until the device is in the forward blocking voltage, this particular voltmeter here represents whatever the voltage we are going to apply. Okay. Whenever the device comes to the conduction, this voltmeter shows 0.7 volts. Number 207, place your mic mute. Okay. So is it clear with this? How to observe the SCR to be in on state, how to observe the SCR to be in the blocking state. So when a voltmeter is connected across the two terminals of an SCR, if the applied voltage is going to be shown in this particular voltmeter, the device is going to be in the blocking state. If this particular voltmeter connected across anode and cathode shows 0.7 volts or 0.5 volts, the device is considered to be in the conducting mode. Okay. So in the conducting mode, the voltage magnitude here is going to be equal to 0.7 volts. Okay. So is it clear with the operation? We can able to make the device conduct by two cases from the IV characteristics. One is by applying a gate current across the gate terminal. Okay. Second condition is by applying the voltage across the anode and the cathode. In the case of this anode and cathode, if gate current is not provided, then we are simply going to increase the forward voltage at a particular point of forward breakover voltage point. The device comes to the conduction. Is it clear with this? So the modes of operation are going to be the forward blocking mode, forward conducting mode, reverse blocking mode, and reverse conducting mode. This reverse conducting mode is happened due to the avalanche breakdown. So at this particular case, you are going to have a large currents and voltages. As the large current and voltages are going to be present, the power loss across the device is going to be high, and immediately you are going to have a high rise in the temperature, so making the device to be burnt out. Okay. So the good practice of considering the SCR in its operating mode is going to be blocking mode, conducting mode in the forward, reverse blocking mode. Okay. Never we need to apply the voltage which is equal to this VBR. For any SCR, we need, when we are going to consider the practical SCR, that particular practical SCR may not be applied with a reverse voltage magnitude of VBR. Okay. Then if it is not applied, then the device can work for a long period. If this reverse breakdown voltage is applied, then the device is going to be burnt out. Okay. This is related to the this is related to the IV characteristics. So these IV characteristics are also going to be considered to be as the static characteristics of SCR. Considered as static characteristics of SCR. Here for an SCR, we are going to study two types of characteristics. One is going to be the dynamic characteristics, and the other one is going to be the static characteristics. Okay. In the case of the static characteristics, you are going to consider the modes of operation, static IV characteristics. Okay. For considering these characteristics, always you need to consider this elementary circuit. From this elementary circuit only, we are going to consider the static characteristics. In the static characteristics, the forward blocking mode represents the off state, reverse blocking mode represents the off state, and forward conducting mode represents the on state of the device. Okay. Here you are going to have two more parameters related to this. as I stated in the last, along with this VB naught and VBR. What are those? Those are going to be related to the current, that is going to be the IL and IH. IL and IH. What is IL? It is going to be the latching current. IL is going to be the latching current and IH is going to be the holding current. Okay, the single line definition for this latching current. The single line definition for this latching current is, it is going to be the minimum current required by the device, by the device for latching from its blocking state to the conducting state, blocking state to the conducting state. So why we need to consider this latching current and holding current means, in the further sessions we are going to consider the tone on methods and tone off methods, tone on methods and tone off methods. So in this particular tone on methods and tone off methods, this IL and IH plays a vital role. IL, and we need to know clearly about this IL and IH. Okay, so IL is going to be the minimum current. IL is going to be the minimum current required for making the device to move from its blocking state to the conducting state. Is it clear? Once again, I am repeating. IL is going to be defined as latching current. The latching current is the current across the device. Current across the device, which minimum current across the device, which is required to make the device move from blocking state to the conducting state. Okay, so then coming to this IL, IH is going to be the holding current. So the IH value is defined as the current, minimum current across the SCR below, whenever the current falls below this value, the device moves to the blocking mode. Okay, so what is the difference between these two currents means, for an instant it could be 5 milliamps and it could be 3 milliamps. Okay, so for an example, a typical SCR may have the latching current to be of 5 milliamps and the holding current to be of 3 milliamps. A narrow difference between these two is going to be provided. So whenever 5 milliamps of current is going to be provided, then the device moves to the conduction. Okay, whenever the current from 5 milliamps to 3 milliamps, the device is going to be in the conduction. Whenever the current falls below this 3 milliamps, the device immediately moves to the blocking state. Okay, so holding current is going to be the minimum current across the device, which regains to the blocking state if its value decreases beyond that. Okay, so here we are going to have a gate current IL, IH in terms of current parameters, and IA is going to the forward current, which is going to be moving from anode to the cathode. So in terms of voltage, you are going to have VB naught, forward breakover voltage, VBR, reverse breakover voltage. Is it clear with the characteristics? Okay, then we need to consider the turn on methods. We need to consider the turn on methods for the SCR. Here we got two methods of turn on. One is by applying a gate current. Second one is by bringing the applied voltage across the anode and cathode to breakover voltage, isn't it? So then, before considering these other turn on methods for this SCR, we need to consider a concept that is called as the two transistor analogy. Two transistor analogy. From the case of this two transistor analogy only, from the considerations of the two transistor analogy only, we are going to consider the turn on methods for the SCR. So is there anything doubt related to this IV characteristics as well as related to this elementary circuit? If feel free, if anyone is going to have a doubt, then simply you can ask and you can give a chance to explain again. Anyone? Okay, then moving to this two transistor analogy. So the main purpose of considering this two transistor analogy is we to analyze this SCR. To analyze the SCR, we are going to consider this two transistor analogy. From this two transistor analogy, we are going to have certain considerations. On the basis of those considerations only, we are going to frame these turn-on methods. Frame these turn-on methods. Okay. So here, whenever you are going to consider for this two transistor analogy, what it is going to be done means the inner two layers of the SCR are going to be bisected vertically. Inner two layers of the SCR are going to be bisected vertically. As they are going to be bisected vertically, so that the inner two layers, what will happen? You are going to have PNP. Okay. Again, you are going to have NPN. So that means when the inner two layers of the SCR are going to be bisected vertically, you are going to have two transistor formation. That is going to be a PNP transistor, which acts as transistor 1, and an NPN transistor, which acts as a transistor 2. Okay. So the circuit representation for this will be like this. So this will be anode, transistor 1, transistor 2, cathode, and gate terminal. Okay. If you are going to consider this here, emitter, okay, then you are going to have the base terminal, collector, sorry, you are going to have the emitter, base terminal, collector like this, and that can be represented in the next figure. So the two transistor representation will be like this. Okay. So first part of the bisected SCR forms an NPN transistor. Second part of the SCR forms an NPN transistor, PNPN transistor, NPN transistor. Okay. So those are going to be like this here. Okay, is it visible? So you are going to have transistor Q1 provided with a leakage current gain of alpha 1, transistor Q2 provided with a leakage current gain of alpha 2. Okay, and emitter terminal, anode is going to be considered to be as the emitter terminal, and cathode is going to be considered as the emitter terminal for this transistor. So this is going to be PNP transistor. This is going to be an NPN transistor, which is going to be connected like this with the gate terminal. Okay, so for this particular circuit, what we are going to consider means, firstly, what we are going to consider means, what is the total current that is going to be entering into the circuit? What is the total current that is going to be entering into the circuit? That is what we need to find out. For finding out that, what we are going to consider here is, we are going to consider the basic equation for the transistor leakage current. As you studied about the transistor equations in the earlier classes, the basic equation for the transistor equation, leakage current equation, that is IC is equal to alpha IE plus IC B naught. Okay, what is this IC? That is going to be the collector current. IE, that IE is going to be the emitter current. IC B naught is going to be the leakage current between the collector and the base. Okay, this particular equation is going to be applied for transistor 1 and transistor 2. When it is applied for the transistor 1, what will happen? This IC is going to be for transistor 1. So you are going to have IC1 is equal to alpha 1. So alpha 1 is going to be the gain. Alpha 1 is going to be the gain of transistor 1. This emitter current IE plus ICB naught 1. What is the IE here? Emitter current of transistor 1 is equal to IA, isn't it? So you are going to represent that here. So the leakage current equation for transistor 1 is going to be IC1 is equal to alpha 1 IA plus ICB naught 1. This ICB naught 1 is going to be the common leakage current provided with the collector and the base terminal for transistor 1. Similarly, considering the leakage current for transistor 2, you are going to get IC2 is equal to, IC2 is equal to alpha 2 into IE. What is IE for this transistor 2? IE for this emitter current for transistor 2 is equal to nothing but the cathode current IK, isn't it? Simply substituting in the place of IE, IK, plus ICB02. This ICB02 is going to be the leakage current associated with the transistor 2, isn't it? So whenever we are going to consider this, you are going to have two leakage current equations, IC1 and IC2. That is the collector current provided for transistor 1 is equal to alpha 1 IA plus ICB01. Collector current provided for transistor 2 is equal to alpha 2 IK plus ICB02. Okay, then what we are going to consider, we need to consider the total current which is provided into the circuit. The total current which is provided into the circuit is going to be IA. This IA is equal to nothing but what is this IA? This is going to be IC2, this is going to be IC1. So IC1 plus IC2 is equal to this total current entering from the anode. So we are simply equating these two, IC1, IC2, IA is equal to IC1 plus IC2. When this IA is equal to IA is equal to alpha 1 IA plus ICB01 is equal to plus alpha 2 into IK plus ICB02. This is going to be the total equation, total current which is going to be entering into the SAR by the two transistor analogy. In this, what we are going to do means, what could be this cathode current? IK. As the cathode current is going to be considered, this current IK is going to be nothing but the sum of this anode current IA as well as the gate current which is going to be provided, isn't it? So in the place of this IK in the equation, we are going to simply represent IA plus IEA plus IG. Okay, so substituting that, IK is equal to IA plus IG. So substituting that, in the case of IK, you simply represented IA plus IG. Okay. So when you are going to consider this, you are simply going to IA, making IA as a common from this equation. What you are going to get when IA is made common, then you are going to have alpha 2 into IA plus ICB01 plus ICB02. So that means you are going to, whenever this IA is considered to be as a common, you are going to get alpha 2 IG plus ICB01 plus ICB02 divided by 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. Okay. So what are this ICB01 and ICB02? Those are going to be the leakage currents. This alpha 2 is going to be the current gain of transistor 2. IG is going to be the gate current which is going to be injected, divided by the denominator which is going to be 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. Okay. As these leakage currents are going to be small, negligibly small, if we neglect these leakage currents, you are going to get the total current injected IA is equal to alpha 2 IG by 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. This is going to be the final expression which is found out in the two transistor analogy. Okay. So let me repeat once again. In the case of this two transistor analogy, you are simply going to split the inner two layers of the transistor such that three layers are going to be formed, and forming one PNP transistor, forming the other NPN transistor. So the schematic representation, the circuit representation for this will be like this, having the anode, gate and cathode terminals like this. Okay. To this, what we need to find out, ultimately what we need to find out is, we need to find out the current entering through the circuit. The current entering through the circuit is going to be the anode current IA. Okay. We need to find out the expression for this IA. For finding the expression for this IA, as the two transistors are going to be provided, we are going to find out the total current entering IA is nothing but equal to IC2 plus IC1. IC2 plus IC1, collector current of transistor 1 plus collector current of transistor 2. That collector current of transistor 1 and transistor 2 can be obtained from the preliminary transistor equations. So the preliminary transistor equations is IC is equal to alpha IE plus ICB0. This is the basic transistor equation. Applying this for transistor 1. So IC1 is equal to alpha 1 IA plus ICB0 1. Okay. Applying this for the transistor 2, IC2 is equal to alpha 2, current gain of transistor 2, into emitter current of transistor 2. That is going to be IK plus ICB0 2. Okay. as IA, anode current, is equal to the sum of collector currents of transistor 1 and transistor 2, you are going to get an expression which is IA is equal to alpha 1 IA plus ICB naught 1 plus alpha 2 IK plus ICB naught 2. This is going to be the equation. But when you are going to consider the cathode current IK, this cathode current IK is always going to be the sum of anode current and the gate current which is going to be injected. Gate current which is going to be injected. So simply in the place of this IA, IK, you are represent IA plus IG. IA plus IG. If you are going to consider IA as a common, you are going to get alpha 1 plus alpha 2. Alpha 1 plus alpha 2 into IA. Expanding this equation, you are going to get IA is equal to alpha 1 IA plus ICB naught 1 plus alpha 2 IA plus alpha 2 IG plus ICB naught 2. Okay. So what we need to get here, we need to get IA as common. We need to get IA as common. So you are going to have IA and you are going to have IA on this side. Making common here IA and moving to and considering the IA, subjecting this IA, you are going to get alpha 2 IA plus IC B naught 1 plus IC B naught 2 divided by 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. This is the final expression from the two transistor analogy. Okay. So what are the considerations from this? First one is, suppose if the current gains of two transistors alpha 1 and alpha 2 is equal to 1, what will happen? Alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 1. If the transistor current gains is equal to 1, 1 minus 1, 0. So something by 0, what is the value? That could be infinity. That means the IA current, anode current value is going to be infinite. When this current value IA is equal to infinite, then simply it states that the device immediately latches from its blocking mode to the conducting mode. This particular phenomena in which the current gains of two transistors is equal to unity, that particular phenomena is considered to be as the regenerative braking, regenerative conduction. So regenerative conduction happens when alpha 1 and alpha 2 is equal to unity. Okay, so that is one of the regenerative action, making the device to be conducting, sudden conduction of the device when the uh, current gains are going to be equal to unity. Okay, then we need to consider the considerations of this gate current, this analogy. So the first considerations is, if the temperature across the device is going to be high, then the leakage current ICB01 and ICB02 are going to be high. When these two currents are going to be high, then immediately you are going to have a large current related to that. As the large current is going to be related to this ICB01 and ICB02, simply it makes the device to be conducting. Okay, so the first consideration is, temperature of the device is high, leakage current increases in inverse for that, in direct relation with that. As it is going to be prevailing, then the device is going to be turned on. The device moves to the turn on condition. Okay. Second one, when the current through the device is extremely small, so that means whenever the current through the device is going to be extremely small, a small leakage current is going to be moving to the device. Then if you are going to consider these charge carriers, that is going to be the whole electron and hole charge carriers. These electron and hole are going to be, concentration is going to be high. That is, the multiplication factor for the reverse biased junction of holes and electrons is going to be high at the reverse biased junction. Due to what will happen, whenever a small rise in the voltage is provided, then there is this particular multiplication factor is going to be increasing, making the device to be in conduction. So that is the second consideration. That is, whenever the current through the device is going to be small, you are going to have a large value of multiplication factors of holes and electrons. So as at the reverse biased junction, multiplication factor is going to be high. Simply a small rise in the voltage, so a small increase in the voltage across the device makes the junction breakdown and the device moves to the conduction. So that is the second consideration. Okay, then moving to the third consideration. So the third consideration is related to this alpha 1 and alpha 2, related to this alpha 1 and alpha 2. So whenever we need to change this alpha 1 and alpha 2, what we need to do? Alpha 1 plus alpha 2, whenever we need to change this sum of alpha 1 plus alpha 2, that means you need to change this alpha 1 as well as you need to change this alpha 2, isn't it? So for whenever you need to change this alpha 1, you need to increase the gate anode current. So this may not be possible when the device is going to be in the blocking mode. Okay, so what we are going to do means independently without changing this alpha 1, we are going to change this alpha 2. How you are going to change this alpha 2? By simply injecting a gate current. Whenever a gate current is going to be injected to this alpha 2, then immediately the value of current gain of this transistor is going to be changing. When this is going to be changing, the sum of alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is going to be changing. Okay, so that means one method of making the device conduct is going to be by providing a change in the gate currents. So that is the third consideration. The required condition for breakover can be realized by increasing alpha 1 and alpha 2. So current gains of alpha 1 and alpha 2 can be increased. When the current gains of alpha 1 and alpha 2 are going to be increased, then ultimately you are going to have a change in the you are going to get the breakover voltage. Okay, so the total current gains of alpha 1 and alpha 2 can be obtained by varying this Ig. Okay, these are going to be the considerations from the two transistor analogy. So anyone is going to have any doubt related to this two transistor analogy? Number 263.
No, sir.
No doubts. Are you listening or sleeping?
Listening, sir.
Okay, then anyone, if anyone is going to have a doubt, please you may raise the question. We are going to have an ample time, so I can clear it now. Okay, is it clear with this? So on a brief, what we are going to consider for this two transistor analogy means splitting the SCR into two transistors, and we need to find out the expression for this anode current. How this anode current is going to be obtained means that is going to be obtained by considering the currents across these two transistors. The currents across the two transistors is going to be considered from the preliminary equation that collector current is equal to alpha into IE plus ICB naught. That is applied for this transistor 1 and transistor 2. Okay, as from the circuit, it can be concluded that two transistors are going to be, that is it can be considered that the total anode current is going to be equal to IC1 plus IC2. You are simply equating these equations. You are going to get a final equation for IA. This IA, in the case of this IA, you are going to have the relation for IK. This IK is going to be this IK, the cathode current is going to be nothing but the sum of gate current and IA. Substituting this in the place of IK, you are going to get the final expression to be like this. IA is equal to alpha 2 Ig plus ICB naught 1 plus ICB naught 2 divided by 1 minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2. Okay, so what are the parameters associated in this particular anode current? Anode current is related to the gate current, anode current is related to the leakage currents, anode current is related to the current gains, isn't it? So first consideration is related to this leakage currents. As the temperature is going to be high, leakage currents is going to be high, so there may be a satisfactory condition for device conduction. That is first consideration. Second condition is whenever you are going to consider across the reverse bias junction, the multiplication factors for the holes and electrons are going to be quite high. In that case, a rise in the forward applied voltage is going to make the device conduct. Okay, so that is the second consideration. Coming to the third consideration, that is going to be the sum of alpha 1 plus alpha 2. So alpha 1 plus alpha 2, whenever this alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is going to be increased, either in the cascaded alpha 1 and alpha 2, or if it is not possible, we are going to increase this alpha 2. This alpha 2 is going to be increased by injecting a current here. As alpha 2 is going to be increased, then ultimately you are going to have the increase in this alpha 1 plus alpha 2. So ultimately the anode current is going to be increasing, making the device to be conducting. Okay, So from these particular considerations, we are going to consider the turn on methods for the SCR. Okay, actually in your syllabus, it is not, the two transistor analogy is not provided. Okay, simply the turn on methods are considered. For getting these turn on methods, we need to consider this forward, all these two transistor analogy. Okay, so the two transistor analogy, by the two transistor analogy, the turn on methods for the SCR is going to be these 5. One is going to be the forward voltage triggering, gate triggering, dV by dt triggering, temperature or thermal triggering, and light triggering. Okay, so briefly in 2 minutes, I will close this turn on methods, and we will see this clearly in the next session. Okay, so coming to this forward voltage triggering, this is nothing but we are going to increase the forward voltage applied across the anode and cathode at a certain point, which is stated to be as forward breakover voltage. Forward breakover voltage, the device comes to the conduction. So that particular method of triggering is going to be considered to be as forward voltage triggering. Okay, so what is this term triggering? The term triggering, it is the method employed for making the device turn on. Triggering is the method employed for making the device turn on. So for semiconductor devices, power electronic semiconductor devices, the method of making the device turn on is stated to be as the triggering. You are going to have different triggering methods like gate triggering, dV by dt triggering, temperature triggering for various devices and various triggering methods. Okay, turn on methods or triggering methods, both are going to be the same. Okay, in the case of this forward voltage triggering, voltage is going to be increased between the anode and cathode in steps. You are going to have a device in the conduction, that is forward voltage triggering. Second one is gate triggering. In the case of this gate triggering, what you are going to do means, you are simply inject a gate current. You are simply going to inject the gate current. Whenever a gate current is going to be injected, at the required gate current value, the device comes to the conduction. That is this method, that is the gate triggering method. And the third one is going to be the dV by dt triggering. This dV by dt triggering is nothing but rate of change in voltage with respect to time. That is 10 volts per second, 50 volts per second, 30 volts per second, or 50 volts per second, like that. Whenever there is a change in, whenever you are going to consider the voltage with respect to second, that whenever there is a rise in the voltage with respect to time, then it is going to make the device conducting. That is considered in the case of this dV by dt triggering. dV by dt triggering is a rise in voltage 10 volts per 10 milliseconds, 15 volts per 10 milliseconds, 30 volts for 10 milliseconds. If the voltage is considered with respect to time, that is considered to be as the dV by dt triggering. Coming to the other, that is going to be the temperature or thermal triggering. So temperature, by raising the temperature of the device, the device leakage current through the device is going to be increasing, making the device to be conducting. This method of triggering is going to be from the first consideration of the two transistor analogy. Okay, this method is from first consideration of the two transistor analogy. This method is from the second consideration. This method is going to be from the second consideration of the two transistor analogy. And coming to this temperature triggering. So this is going to be from the first, this is going to be from the third. You are going to increase the gate current by injecting the gate current. Alpha 1 and alpha 2 are going to be changed. Change in alpha 1 and alpha 2 can be attained by gate triggering. So the other one is going to be the light triggering. This light triggering may not be applicable for all the power semiconductor devices and SCRs. Simply, it is going to be considered for light activated devices. Light triggering is going to be considered for light activated devices where energy particles like photons are going to be considered, and they are going to be, by those photons, the device is going to be bombarded with the photons, and the device comes to the conduction. Okay, so briefly, the triggering methods for the SCR is going to be forward voltage triggering, gate triggering, dV by dt triggering, temperature or thermal triggering, and the last one light triggering. So in the case of this gate triggering, it is going to be again classified depending upon the signal. That is going to be the DC gate triggering and AC gate triggering. Depending upon the signals, the gate triggerings are going to be pulse triggering method, continuous triggering method, DC signal method, and AC triggering methods. Okay, is it clear with the turn on methods of the SCR? Turn on methods. Is it clear with the turn on methods? We may consider clearly related to this in the next session. If there are anything, any doubts related to you, you can simply ask me now. Anyone? Anyone have the doubt related to this, what we discussed, that is two transistor analogy and the turn on methods? So anything related, anything doubt related to the previous sessions? Previous sessions, what we considered? Devices, devices representations, so current ratings and voltage ratings, anything related to that? So no doubts. Can I end the session?
Yes, sir.
2:13. So next thing, next in the next session, we may consider this turn on methods, as well as we need to consider the turn off methods. Okay. Okay. If any, I will provide the material by evening for the complete first unit and these PPTs. Okay. So likely, please look into these PPTs, and you can, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay. So no doubts up to now. Okay. Simple. Then I am ending the session. Okay. In the next class, we may consider the turn off methods for the SCR. Okay. So have a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.